The Steelers find themselves once again in a very uncomfortable situation with their quarterback predicament. It was expected at the start of the offseason that Justin Fields was going to run it back in the black and gold for a second season, but instead, he made the shocking decision to sign with the New York Jets. And he recently came out and explained why he picked the Jets over the Steelers. He pretty much said that he felt it was a little weird how he got benched. He didn't like how they handled the quarterback situation between him and Russ. And I don't think any of us can fault him for feeling the way that he did about the predicament. You're 4-2 as the starting quarterback. You have the team on top of arguably the toughest division in the NFL. You're playing good football. And yet Mike Tomlin decides to go with age-washed Russell Wilson. So then you pivot to Aaron Rodgers. And I thought that Aaron Rodgers being with the Steelers would be a perfect fit. He has a lot of respect for Mike Tomlin. You got a good group of wide receivers to throw the football to. DK Metcalf, George Pickens, Roman Wilson, if he's able to stay healthy. But it seems as if Aaron Rodgers, if he doesn't get an opportunity to play with the Vikings this year, he's going to end up retiring. So now the Steelers have been forced to pivot their attention to the NFL draft to find their next signal caller for this year, which I was hoping would be Shedeur Sanders. You know, he recently took a top 30 visit to the Steelers not too long ago. He said that he gives it a 10 out of 10. He enjoyed his conversations with Mike Tomlin. Reminds him a lot of his dad, Dion. And Mike Tomlin, the feelings are mutual between him and Shedeur. He has no problem taking Shedeur if he's still on the board when it's the Steelers' turn to pick with the 21st overall selection. And it looks like the Browns are probably going to go Travis Hunter. The Giants are going to go best player available. And I thought that all the chips were perfectly aligned for Shedeur Sanders to be the Steelers' quarterback this year. He's the best option that the Steelers have at this point. I feel he's a pro-ready quarterback. You can insert him into the starting lineup in week one. He's good going through his reads, takes care of the football. He's very accurate. And with the supporting cast that he'll be inheriting in Pittsburgh, he could have a really good rookie season. However, Derek Carr has fucked over the Steelers' plans completely when it comes to Shedeur Sanders because him and his team have taken it upon themselves to leak a story about his shoulder injury so they can use that as leverage to manage a trade out of New Orleans or to just get him cut altogether so he can start elsewhere. And this has put the Steelers in a really bad spot now. Because now with Derek Carr possibly wanting out of New Orleans, the Saints are going to be forced to draft a quarterback with the 9th overall selection, and that more than likely is going to be Shedeur Sanders, who was supposed to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. So now the Steelers are going to have to be forced to draft either Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart 21st overall. And the reason why they're going to be regulated to have to draft one of these guys in the first round is due to them not having a second-round pick. And if you don't want to drive Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart, and you want to roll the dice on the other available quarterbacks on the market, possibly either you trade for Kirk Cousins, who in his last 4 to 5 starts as a Falcon had 1 touchdown and 9 interceptions, he's washed. Or you could get the guy that currently has F the Steelers over and put the Steelers in this bad quarterback predicament, trading for Derek Carr, which wouldn't help the Steelers go any further than where they've gone these last couple of years. And what frustrates me about this predicament is that Derek Carr, regardless if the Saints drafted a quarterback or not, he was still going to be the starter. It didn't really look like the Saints wanted to move on from him. They forcefully restructured his contract. And let's just be honest, Derek Carr, his 2 years that he's been in New Orleans, he hasn't really been that great. Statistically, he's been pretty good. But if you watch the games, he does nothing but throw a lot of checkdowns. He threw a hospital ball that got Chris Olave damn near broken in half and killed. The Steelers have been effed over in the worst way possible by Derek Carr, because now he has got rid of the best option that you were going to have starting for you at quarterback this year, not being able to draft Shedeur Sanders. Mike Tomlin has said he has no problem rolling with Mason Rudolph as the week 1 starter, but I have a problem with it. I'm a huge believer that Mike Tomlin is a quarterback away from having the Steelers back in the Super Bowl conversation, which is why I never get on here and call for Mike Tomlin to get fired. It's been a very long time since I had one of my epic fire Mike Tomlin rants, because I'm one of the few people that seems to be realistic about the whole entire playoff drought the Steelers have gone through. Yes, the Steelers have gone a very long time for the playoff win. And when Mike Tomlin had Big Ben a future first ballot Hall of Fame, or at least he should be, the Steelers were still coming up short. But over these last couple of years, with Mike Tomlin going into these playoff games against MVP quarterbacks and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, I was never expecting the Steelers to win those games with the quarterback play that they were getting. You're not going to win in a conference that's loaded with the majority of the NFL's best quarterbacks, with guys like Mason Rudolph and a watch Russell Wilson. You can't expect Mike Tomlin to win a playoff game when he's going into a gunfight with a plastic straw. That's pretty much what he's been given, which is why it's unfair to call for Mike Tomlin's job every time the Steelers come up short in the postseason, when you know it's a quarterback-driven league. They say this all the time. It's a pass-heavy league. And if you don't have a good quarterback, you don't have a chance in hell at making a deep playoff run. You're expecting Mike Tomlin to turn shit into gold trying to win with these washed quarterbacks that the Steelers are going to have to pick from between either Kirk Cousins or Derek Carr. How about none of them? I'd rather have Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart than roll it with Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins this season. The Steelers find themselves in the same position that they've been since the retirement of Big Ben Roethlisberger, playing musical chairs and Russian roulette at the quarterback position. This is the most important position in the NFL when it comes to determining how successful of a team you're going to be. And if you don't have at least average quarterback play, which the Steelers could definitely get out of Aaron Rodgers despite his age and what happened with the New York Jets, he's better than anything that the Steelers have. I can't get behind the crowd that says, let's just run it with Mason Rudolph and try to get a quarterback next year, when we have an aging group of veterans on defense. Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, they have sacrificed a lot for this team. They deserve the opportunity to have a quarterback that gives them a fair shot to win in the playoffs. Not settling for some doggone Mason Rudolph. Not settling for wash Kirk O'Chains or wash Derek Carr. I want a freaking quarterback, for crying out loud. How long are the Steelers going to continue to play this game with these Randall jabronis at quarterback? Eventually, you gotta find the franchise guy, and Shedeur Sanders is that answer. But Derek Carr has effed the Steelers over with him putting out these reports from his team about this doggone shoulder injury that nobody knew about until now. And he has effed the Steelers over in the worst way possible, because now we have no shot in hell at Atlanta Shedeur Sanders unless we trade the farm to the Carolina Panthers for the 8th overall pick. I'm so sick of this shit, man. I'm tired of being a Steelers fan at this point. At this point, if Kirk Cousins or Derek Carr or Mason Rudolph is the Steelers starting quarterback week 1 this season, I'm strongly considering disassociating myself as a Steeler fan and just becoming a fan of the NFL at this point. I refuse to continue to support a team that does the same thing year after year, putting these situations when they have to settle for below average quarterback play. And I don't blame this on Mike Tomlin. I blame this on the guys in the front office that wear the black and white suit and ties. Thank you a lot, Derek Carr, for effing over the Steelers when it comes to the quarterback situation once again, because thanks to you, we're not going to have a shot at drafting Shedeur Sanders. You have screwed the Steelers, and I hope that you don't take a single snap as a starting quarterback in the league ever again. Thanks a lot for scoring over Pittsburgh. Now we can't land Shedeur Sanders. Now we got to run it back with another year of below average quarterback play. And you wonder why Mike Tomlin can't win a playoff game. How the hell is Mike Tomlin supposed to compete against these aliens like Lamar and Josh Allen with a guy like a Mason Rudolph? And now we went from Justin Fields to Aaron Rodgers, Shedeur Sanders, then now looking at Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, having to be okay with drafting Jalen Milroe and Jackson Dart in the first round. Just take me out now, God. Just take me out now. Just end the pain before it gets even worse as being a Steelers fan right now. Thanks a lot, Derek Carr. You fucked us over in the worst way.